Okay, sorry, Mr. Fields came in and wanted to ask me something. We left off, we were talking about Mark Twain as an American realist. He obviously wrote Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. And you'll read Huck Finn, it's an amazing book, and you'll learn all kind of life truths and stuff from Huck Finn. And the scenery and what he's talking about, realist isn't just about learning about reality, it's learning about reality through the fiction. It's pretty great. Miss Bray can answer a lot more questions about this than I can, but I can tell you that you will love Huck Finn. And if you don't, you're an idiot. I talked about William James. His brother Henry was a famous American writer, and he often used women as the protagonists in his books, which is important on a couple levels. One, it's important because it shows the importance of women emerging in an urbanized society as they're getting more jobs, more political rights, more educational opportunities, and it's offering a different perspective in terms of literature itself. Lastly, when it comes to art, and we don't do a lot of art discussion here, probably one of my weakest things. There was also a realist school, artistically, probably led by an American painter named Winslow Homer, who oftentimes used African Americans being portrayed. Have you ever seen a movie called Good Will Hunting? Winslow Homer is actually mentioned in that, in one of the scenes, pop culture reference-wise. But it's important for you to know that the art and literature changed after the Civil War. Every major war, especially the Civil War, World War I and World War II, artistic-wise, especially the Civil War and World War I, you see a huge change in literary production in terms of the value of what you're looking at and the morals that are setting in. You'll read Gatsby in Miss Ray's class in AP Language. You'll read probably some stuff by Hemingway, probably some stuff by Faulkner, maybe some stuff by Gertrude Stein, maybe some Steinbeck. And all these people are coming out of the World War I generation who are questioning the type of morality that generated the actual conflict of World War I. And we'll talk a lot more about this when we get there with the Lost Generation. But same thing with the Civil War. That the Civil War was an epoch-changing event. And with that, you're going to get artistic movements that reflect societal changes. And the realist school is one that reflects the changes post-Civil War. So there's that. The last thing we got to, we started Settling of the West, and the only thing we talked about was Frederick Jackson Turner. Frederick Jackson Turner was an author, and he wrote a book called The Significance of the Frontier on American History, and it was in 1893. And essentially what his thesis is that the American character, that is to say what's made up of your Americans, and the American spirit, is inherently built up in the idea of moving west, of obtaining open land and blazing trails and colonization of a new area. The West itself is officially, in the census of 1890, closed off. We want to talk about this, but the last Native American major battle before all Native Americans were relegated to reservations was the Battle of Wounded Knee in 1890. And in 1890, the frontier was closed off. And that doesn't mean that the Wild West was gone. What that means is there was no more discernible frontier line. Land was there. It wasn't as dangerous as it had been before, when moving west from the Oregon Trail or going to California. Now there was no discernible frontier. It had been closed off. And this is going to be really, really important to the mindset of Americans as they struggle with the idea that there is no more open West. The population has continued to move west in terms of the relative center of the nation. In fact, I think it actually continues to do so. But think about that. The fact that urbanization is bringing so many Americans into cities and immigrants into cities, and the population center is still moving west, which tells us that the American population is ever growing in the early 19th and late 19th and early 20th centuries. And this is going to bring on real big political and economic important manifestations, in the sense that America is becoming a world power now because of its size. We're no longer a nation strapped to the East Coast. We're a nation with a bi-coastal nation. This is going to have major economic and political consequences. So that's when we left off. You guys should be good to go when you show up on Monday. We're going to finish the West early on Tuesday probably, and then finish Politics of 1890s. Your test will be on Friday, a 3 or 4 essay test, and then we'll do Fire Picnic Day on Friday also.